Well, to help us frame what lies ahead, we're now going to hear from David Carstens on the fifth industrial revolution and what it means for institutional capital. David is a distinguished intellectual property attorney, entrepreneur and investor with a deep track record in IP strategy, venture investment and technology commercialization. Please welcome David to the stage.
Thank you so much. I will tell you, Lakshmi said we're living in a moment of acceleration, and I could not agree more. It is a pleasure to be here in London because, of course, England is the birthplace of the first industrial revolution. Many of you probably know that James Watt is famous for having developed an improved steam engine, and he did this back in the 1770s. And his steam engine was so impressive that it almost tripled the amount of power output from existing steam engine designs. We sometimes talk about this being the first industrial revolution. What it did was, of course, it revolutionized factories throughout England. And over the next 60 or 70 years, it helped turn England into an economic superpower. Now, while many of you have heard the name James Watt, you may not have heard of somebody else named Matthew Boulton. Matthew Boulton is famous for having helped finance James Watt. but for Matthew Boulton, who knows, James Watt may have been a footnote in history. But instead, somebody had some vision and provided him some capital. The second industrial revolution was really around the generation of electricity. The names involved are well known. Thomas Edison, Westinghouse, Tesla. Their breakthrough was that they realized we could generate electrical power and send it down power lines to factories, but also we could send it to houses and provide power to people's residences. The economic impact of that really took maybe 30 or 40 years to be appreciated, simply because there was so much infrastructure that had to be built. This is a graph from a study from J.P. Morgan about the time from technology's introduction to its impact in the economy. The third industrial revolution really was around electronics. And there are some heroes from that. A man named Shockley helped develop the transistor. One of my hometown heroes is a man named Jack Kilby. He's from Dallas, Texas as well. Jack helped develop the integrated circuit. Both of those men won Nobel Prizes as well for their contributions to electronics. The fourth industrial revolution is really the one that we're living in right now, that we've all experienced. Widespread adoption of computers, ever more sophisticated software, cellular communications, the internet. Think about the incredible benefits that have come to your lives from those technologies. And of course, those technologies were enabled by the stuff from the third industrial revolution. What you'll also see from the graph, though, is that the time to impact keeps getting shorter and shorter. So when you talk about a moment of acceleration, this is it right there. Now, we believe that we're finished with the fourth industrial revolution and we're clearly already into the fifth. And you may ask yourself, well, how can you tell? This was an interesting graph I appreciate a great deal. It looks at different tasks that can be done by AI and how that compares to basically what we call human baseline ability. And you can't help but notice that across a large number of tasks, AI is now, in fact, at least equal, if not better than humans. Now, what that means, of course, is that you can substitute it for human labor, just like the steam engine was used as a substitute for human power. This is going to create significant changes in our economy, simply this. And I'm sure everybody in this room has played around with ChatGPT or Grok, and I'm blown away by how good those tools are. And yet, I also understand that in 3 years, they're going to be much, much better. And so that's the change that we're in right now. Now, we believe that there's a couple of other driving technologies, AI being the obvious one. But we also believe that blockchain is going to create brand new business models that will displace a number of large players in the market right now. We're fans of virtual reality, the ability to visualize results in new and different ways. Quantum computing, bluntly, I think is the biggest game changer of all of these. Instead of just relying upon improvements of 5 and 10% in computing power per year, this is going to increase computing power maybe by 10,000-fold. It will solve problems that are currently unsolvable by current technologies. And then, of course, advanced materials. Now, 5-hour is going to change our world in a lot of ways. I'll give an example. You can read the slide, but an example that I'm excited about is one of our companies is using AI and health records, and they're starting to identify specifically where plaques are forming in the brain that cause Alzheimer's, and they're detecting it earlier and earlier so that it can be treated more effectively. Now, this is the sort of real-world benefit that we're going to see from AI and perhaps quantum computing. There will be revolutions in energy, and of course, the financial system will be rebuilt in many ways. I'm going to leave you with one quote, Justin Trudeau: "The pace of change has never been this fast, yet it will never be this slow again." I love that quote. I think it's absolutely true. Either way, thank you very much for having me today. Hope I've been able to set the stage about the various industrial revolutions and how they're going to affect us. Thanks.